Everything God made is interesting. Grass, weeds, anything it could be. Hence, I am interested. Known to explore the inner fears and loneliness, these are the themes that she explored in her works. The gates open, but however, I saw you climb up the wall and come inside. Now, Derek is a little upset by the fact that you actually saw me climbing the wall. Do you even care, or are you even listening to what I'm saying? What have you changed the whole topic into? Hello and a very warm welcome to your prep school English classes. I'm your English teacher, Kshama. In this session today, we are taking up yet another chapter from your textbook Vidhyaashram, which is your supplementary reader, named as On the Face of It by Susan Hill. Let's see on whose face and what is there on somebody's face and what is this story about. Without wasting any time in this session today, we're going to talk about the author. Who is this author, Susan Hill, and what does she have in store for us? What's the background of the story, the summary, and we are going to recap the instances that have happened in this story. Now, I would assure you this is a story that is going to have an everlasting impact on your hearts because it low-key reminds you when you're reading of it. Probably it was the older version of Dear Zindagi that you get to know. But then, however, it is very traditional sort of Dear Zindagi where you meet people older than you and you think most of the times you think it's such a waste of time or you're not getting anything out of it. But if you dig deeper, if you try talking to them about things, these are people, as they always tell you, they have crossed your age and have seen so much that you are yet to see. Now, what is it that they can teach us from the life experience that they have had? And what are the things that we go through or even the younger generation goes through on a day-to-day basis? And how important is it that all of these things, all of these insecurities are acknowledged and how to overcome it? It's just a beautiful story of all of this packed together. And let's get to know about Susan Hill now. Now, Susan Hill is an English author of fiction and non-fiction works. Okay, her novels include The Woman in Black, The Mist in the Mirror, and I Am the King of the Castle. Then she received the Somerset Maugham Award in 1971, as well as for her novel, obviously, I Am the King of the Castle. She was appointed a commander of the Order of the British Empire in 2012. Okay, multitasking. Known to explore the inner fears and loneliness, these are the themes that she explored in her works. And her works reflect honest suffering and as well as optimism. Now, it is true that everyone goes through something or the other in their life, but there's always hope. There's always, a feeling that there is a light at the end of the tunnel. Now, that's what she talked about. Let's see what is this story and what do we have in this story. The scene opens a view of the garden filled with crab apples and there's a house and everything. The birds are chirping. Let's enter. Let's go inside. Who are we going with? Who are we bumping into? Let's understand. Now, inside are Derry, who is one of the most important characters in this story. He is entering this garden thinking that there is no one in the garden who can see him. He's not really trespassing, but then he wanted to be there and he thought nobody's there. Let me just go inside. He's going inside. There he is sneaking into another most important character of our story, Mr. Lamb. He is the one who owns this garden and the house, and he's sneaking into Mr. Lamb's garden, assuming that there is no one. However, Mr. Lamb assures that there is nothing to be afraid of. I've seen you coming inside, but there's nothing to be afraid of. Okay. Then the conversation goes on. Let's understand what happens over here. Okay. So the Derek over here, he actually thinks that there was nobody in the house and it is an empty house. However, Mr. Lamb assures, he also tells him that, it's a beautiful day. Why do I have to sit inside? That's why I'm out. So technically the house is empty if you think of it that way, he says. And the gates open. But however, I saw you climb up the wall and come inside. Now, Derek is a little upset by the fact that you actually saw me climbing the wall. Okay. So what do you think? Have I come to steal or something? Do you not suspect me of stealing? Then Mr. Lamb says, no, I don't think you are here to steal. Okay. You're not as young as one will be in order to steal something. You're not young enough. You're somewhere around 13 or something. Okay. So you wanted to come in. You have come in. But then you don't know me, right? You're telling me that I'm somewhere around 13, I'm not old, I'm not young enough to steal something. But it's also true that you don't know anything about me, right? Then he could be a boy of 13 or so. Then Derek over here tells or reveals that he is 14-year-old. Okay, we got to know his name is Derek and he's 14-year-old who has entered into the garden of Mr. Lamb, who was, having a good day outside in his own garden. But our Derek over here thinks that there's nobody in the house and he enters there. However, how has he entered? He has entered through the garden walls and not through the gate. Then, I'm not afraid. I'm not afraid. Usually people are afraid of me. Now, why would people be afraid of him? What's something to be afraid of? Let's understand. Now, everyone pretends, but I know they are afraid of me. I am not afraid of anybody. It is people who are afraid of me. They pretend that they are not and they don't want to let me know. However, I can see it on people's face that they are afraid of me. What's so strange about this boy that he feels people are afraid of him? A boy of 14-year-old, okay? I see what they are thinking. I know what they're thinking when they look at me. Then Mr. Lamb asks, he has been all positive about things. It's such a beautiful day in the garden. You came in, anybody can come in and spend time over here, tells Mr. Lamb. So he's very hopeful, he's very optimistic. Whereas our Derry over here is, he's very concerned. He thinks about what people would think about him and all those things, right? He's very conscious. What do you think they're thinking then? Mr. Lamb asks, now what do you think they would be thinking when they look at you? Poor boy, although I'm not poor, they might be thinking, oh, it's such a terrible thing to have happened. Look at it, it's so ugly. Poor boy, that's terrible. Now, what are they talking about? They are actually talking about his face, okay? One side of his face has had a disaster from acid and it is burnt. Now, that is what he's very conscious about. That is what bothers him. He thinks it would bother people and hence he also thinks they are afraid of him, okay? You are afraid. I'm afraid of me too. Derry says, it's okay. I know this. You are also afraid of me, but you're pretending that you're not afraid. You know what? Sometimes when I look at myself, I'm also afraid of myself. What do I do? Okay. Let's see. The story has taken a turn over here. Let's understand from here. And now over here, Mr. Lamb over here, what is he doing? Okay. They get to start having a conversation. Let's see what are they doing. Ladder and a stick, pull down those crab apples. I like making jelly out of those. Out of the blue, our Mr. Lamb over here starts talking about, let's pull a ladder. This boy over here is talking about his insecurities, all of a sudden coming out and is talking about it. Although he feels like he has closeted himself and that's the reason he came inside. Here, Lamb is talking about something else, right? He says, pull a ladder, help me out. Let's pick out all those crab apples. I like making jelly out of those. These are like magical fruits. Let's make jelly out of them. Then Derry's like, wait, do you even care or are you even listening to what I'm saying? What have you changed the whole topic into? Okay, you could give me a hand, right? Mr. Lamb asks, can you not help me? Why are you changing the subject? Asks Derry. Total change of subject that was. Why pretend and not ask? Because I might see and get upset. Now Derry asks, is it because you are pretending and you're hiding the fact that you are afraid, you want to ask, you want to talk about it, and you're not doing so because you think you looking at me, staring at me, it might disturb me, right? Is that why you're not asking about it? Just ask me directly if you want to ask something, right? Then, you don't ask, you are afraid too. Now, when he asks Lamb that, Lamb replies, do you want me to talk about it? Do you want me to address it? Do you want me to look at it? You are also pretending. You don't ask. You're not asking because you are afraid. Our Derry over here is emphasizing on the fact that although people do stare at him, they do talk about it, they are afraid to ask about it or talk about it with him. Behind him or around him, they talk. But they are afraid to talk about it with him. Maybe one of the reasons could be that he might just get upset. He might, not take it well. That could also be the reason. I don't like people, he says. I don't like people. Any of the people for that matter, I don't like them. Probably in order to avoid those interactions with people, he has come inside this garden. Okay. Then, so now Mr. Lamb over here asks, okay, let's talk about it then. Now that you have told, you want me to address the thing. What has happened? Is it a burnt thing? Did you burn your face or something like that? Then Derry over here reveals what exactly happened. Okay. He got acid onto that side of his face. It completely ate his entire face, not just his face. I mean, not just is a very derogatory thing to say, very insensitive thing to say, but then along with his face, it also ate him up. It also destroyed him, not just physically the face, but emotionally, mentally, psychologically, him as well. It ate up him as well. Ate my face and me. Okay? And I think I can never be any different. This is going to be like this forever and I can never be any different. So far, you'd see the tone of things. Derry over here is very conscious, very, reserved, and very thinks that people are afraid of him. People don't want to talk about it with him. People think that he's strange and all that. What people think does matter to him so much. But on the other hand, Mr. Lamb comes out to be a very free-spirited, on his own will, happy-go-lucky kind of guy. Okay, let's see what happens later on. Okay, insecurities are being talked about, are being addressed over here. Interested in anybody, anything. Are you even interested? Asks Derry again, to which Mr. Lamb says, I am interested in everything. Whatever that God has made, whoever that comes through this gate, I'm interested in anything or everything, my child, he says. Then, everything God made is interesting. Grass, weeds, anything it could be. Hence, I am interested. Okay, some call it, now there's a beautiful example or Mr. Lamb takes up over here and he says, some call those green grass that are of no use as weeds. Okay, to them, their perspective, it is a weed. Okay, so now for me, it could be, I see the whole picture. Okay, if you have seen thing or a theory that goes, it's not what the parts don't matter. It's the sum of the parts that matter. In order to elaborate on that, and this is something that I really, really, look forward to or look up to, this theory particularly. Now, if a cow by itself, a meadow by itself, or a grass by itself is just meadow. But if you put them all together, it becomes a beautiful, beautiful scenery and a picture. Hence, it's not the parts that matter. It's the sum of the parts is what matters. Okay, if that makes sense. Probably that is what our Mr. Lamb over here is trying to convey. To some, they only notice that weed. Okay, that is the waste thing and I see only that. But Mr. Lamb over here is somebody, he looks at the whole picture. For him, all the garden is filled with fruits, flowers, trees, herbs, everything. He likes to see the picture as a whole and appreciate the picture as a whole and not just pick out that weed. Oh, there's a weed. So do you not want to look at the entire picture? Here he's also trying to convey to our Derry over here is such a sweet message. His face or that part of the face does not define who he is, isn't it? It's much more than that. It's much more of holistically what he is as a person that matters. That's one way to look at it if that makes sense. Okay. So green growing plants, they are also green and growing normally like all the other plants. Why should I call it weed and waste, right? Another plant as flower, right? It's all life after all. There's no difference if you look at it that way. A green growing plant, as you're calling it weed, there's also another green plant which you are calling it as flowering plant or one which is giving fruits. There's no difference if you look at it. Both of them are filled with life. Okay, he's trying to strike a balance as well. Then see that he's somebody who is relating a lot of philosophical lessons to nature as well. That's Mr. Lamb for you. Okay. Same as you and me. It's same. You, me, this whole world, it's the same. They have the same life form in it. That's what he's saying. It is true we are all different, but the life in us is one and the same, isn't it? To which Derry is like, no. You and me, we are not different. He is now actually, he's sort of victimizing himself. And he wants to say that the situation that he is in, it's no joke, my friend. It's very grave. Okay. He says, we are not the same. No, we are not the same. Oh, is it that I'm old and you're young? Is that how it is? Okay, is that how you're saying it? Is that how we are different? You burned a face and I have a tin leg. Now, then we get to know another information. Our lamb over here has lost one of his legs and it has been replaced by a tin leg. Okay. Now he says, I have also lost something here. Look at it. He has also lost something. And Derry has also lost something. Does that not make him equals? Everybody loses one or the other things. Hence, everybody should be valued and looked upon the same way, respected the same way. Real one was blown off and kids call me Laney Lamb and they make fun of his name along with the tin leg that he has. Kids make fun of him and his real leg got blown off in the war. So Derry asks, now does that not trouble you? Does it not trouble you? Charles, our Lamb over here, there's a writer called Charles Lamb and I've been repeating his name quite a lot. It's Lamb, it's just Lamb, okay? So Mr. Lamb says, it does not really bother me. I've been used to it, I guess. It doesn't bother me. Now, but then in your case, I think the victimization starts. He's the victim, his pain is greater. That's what we do, I guess. Initially, when you're exposed to any kind of pain, we feel that whatever that is happening to us is like the greatest pain in the world and everybody else is doing just fine, right? Only when you really open your eyes and look out there, you see that there are people who are going through much worse things than you. It is true, it is acceptable, respected that whatever you go through indeed is painful. We are not trying to negate it in any manner. It is true. What you're going through is painful, my friend. But that does not mean you put yourself way down, way somewhere in the hell when in comparison to any other person around you, right? He says, Derry says, wait, you can actually cover it up with your trousers and nobody will get to ever see it. Unlike me, I can't cover my face and walk around all the time. I can't do that, you see. So trousers cover it up and no one notices or stares. Well, Mr. Lamb over here tells that, no, that's not true. Some people do stare, some people don't stare. It's up to them, okay? So, isn't it tiring that there is plenty of things? I mean, after some point, it gets so tiring. People will stop looking at you. They'll have plenty of other things to stare at in the world. World also has a face. World also has many things to show up, right? So, they'll look at it then. It will tire them one or the other day, right? So, my face, and then they'll have to look at what are the other things. If not your face, what are the other things they can look at? Lamb can list n number of things over here. He says there are crab apples, weeds, spiders climbing up the ladder, there's tall sunflowers. There are plenty of things to stare and look at. When you feel that you are the only thing that is there right on the faces of people and you're not noticing other things, people are also looking at other things. Sometimes when we are upset or when there's something going on in our lives, we feel that, maybe it's just me and maybe everybody around me is so ashamed of me. We make it so much about ourselves. But if you just try to generalize yourself and be out there however you want to be, it's not really that complicated. I know it's very easy to blabber on, but give it a try. What's the loss in giving it a try, isn't it? Now, the conversation goes on and on and on. They converse and talk about, don't you think I haven't been told all those things? Now, he's saying something what you are saying when you, at this point in the video, when you're looking at it. He's saying, do you not think I've heard all these things? All the ideal philosophy and theories? Yes, I have heard. And I'll give you some of the examples on your face if you want. Okay? The fairy story of the Beauty and the Beast, of course. This beautiful lady falls in love with the beast, kisses him, and then he, turns out to be magically a prince. In my case, however, that's not going to happen. Derry says, I am not turning into a prince or something like that. Well, Lamb over here accepts that. He says, that way, definitely you're not going to get transformed in a fairy tale sort of manner. That is definitely not happening. I agree. Okay? But in my case, I wouldn't change. After all, I'm not a prince or neither is this story of a Beauty and the Beast. But that way, no, you're not going to change. No one will kiss me ever, he says. And additionally, no one will ever kiss me. Okay, only my mother does, and that too on the other side, not on the side where the acid has burnt my face, but on the other side, she does kisses me, and I don't like that actually. It sort of feels like she's doing it out of pity, or she's doing it only because he is her son. Okay, so no one will ever kiss me. I'll be fine with it, I guess. If no one ever kisses me, I'll be fine with it. But Lamb over here asks another question. So you'll be fine if you also never get to be with someone or to kiss someone? You'll be fine with that as well? Okay, who will be okay with that? Who will be okay with kissing me? Who will be okay with being with me? No, I don't think that is there. What about the people who love you? Okay, what if you don't get to kiss them? Will that be fine? You won't be affected about it? He says, no, nobody will be with me or they'll be afraid. That's the whole point of it. They will be afraid of me, and it has, sat down with so much strength in this boy's head that it is not easy to shake this entire belief of the world being afraid of him. Okay? Now, other side of my face, and I don't like it. She does so because she has to. Why does she have to do that? Out of pity? because I'm her son and she has to do it, right? I don't care. Wait, you don't care even if you don't get to kiss ever? Okay. Pretty girls, who are you talking about? Pretty girls with long hair, large eyes, or people you love, you don't get to kiss them. What then? No one would let me. Okay. You can't say that, says Mr. Lamb over here. You don't know about that. Okay. You have made so many judgments, so many preconceived notions about this whole thing in your own head, and it has grown so strong. All that you have to do is just shatter them. That's the idea behind it. He doesn't say all of this right away to this 14-year-old boy. Okay. Then we also see, as they talk about, even if I am enter my old age, I'll still have a half face. Nothing is going to change. He is not going to believe in the fact that there could be a change regarding to what has happened to him. He thinks the damage that has happened is for eternity and there could be nothing different. Okay. Then the world's got a whole face to be looked at. This old garden is a whole world. You're saying, wait. Now, Lamb is trying to distract him and say, there's a whole world out there for people to see. It's not just you. Come out of it. Now, you think this whole garden is the world? For me, yes, it is. It is my whole world. Lamb agrees. Then later on, Derry over here is actually turning to be a little empathetic. He's slightly sliding away from being all about himself, making it all about himself, victimizing himself. He's sort of melting and going into empathizing with Mr. Lamb, and he says, well, does that hurt now? To which tin doesn't hurt, my friend. Our Lamb over here gives an answer. Tin doesn't hurt, you know that, right? No, not now. When it blew off in the water, did it hurt then? Yes, obviously it hurts. Okay. When it came off, then did it hurt? Yes, it did. And every now and then, when in the winter season and everything, when it gets wet and everything, it does hurt. Okay. Then look at people in pain, how brave they are. They never cry or complain and don't feel sorry about themselves. Now, Derry says, wait, now you're going to give me one of those stories, isn't it? You know, look at people who are in so much pain. They never complain about it. They don't feel sorry about themselves. They're always confident, always strong and brave. You're going to give me that story again? Lamb says, no, I never said that. Sometimes when you try to motivate a person, it might end up demotivating them further on because they would have heard the same thing over and over again. They might just, all that they might require, according to me, is just for somebody to be their ear and just listen to them with whole heart. That's all. Probably that is what is going to help you in therapy as well. Okay. So Mr. Lamb says, wait, I did not say that. When did I say that? All those lecture. Okay. People worse off than you. There are people worse off than you. I am going to tell you this. However, he adds that, boy, look at me. There are people out there who are born deaf, blind, people who live on wheelchair their entire life, people who went crazy, people who dribble, who don't have a sense of control physically and mentally. There are so many of these people. You are somebody, you have got 2 eyes, 1 leg, and every other organ of yours is proper. It is true that your face, one part of your face is burnt. But whatever that you set your hand into and you choose to do, you will be able to do it. You will be able to achieve it like the rest of the people. There's nothing that can stop you, tells our Mr. Lamb over here. To which our Derry in response tells another story of what happened once when he was passing. Near the bus stop, there was a lady on the footpath, and what was she speaking? She actually saw him, and she was speaking to another lady, a woman on street to another woman. She's saying, that's terrible. That's the face only a mother can love. Okay? Could love. And it was cruel. When he heard it, it made him feel really bad. We cannot stop people from speaking. We cannot stop them from having judgments. We cannot stop them from having opinions. But what we can have control over is the fact that how much are you going to let it affect you? Okay? So, again, Lamb does not say all of these things. He only means these things through what he's saying. Okay? So, only thing you'll ever heard in your life, is that the only thing that you have heard in your life? All these negative things? Apart from that, you have not heard anything else? Yeah, I've heard plenty. Okay? There have been many things that I've heard. Don't even get me started about it, he says. Well, then probably by now you have shut your ears. You've stopped listening to things then. You have become numb. Have you grown numb over the years? Then Derry says, you are strange. You say peculiar things. Okay? I mean, the gates open. Lamb says, the gate's still open. If you want to go, you go. You are staying here with your own will, out of your own will. And you choose to stay here. I am not forcing you to stay here. But then even then, you are strange, tells our Derry over here. And let's see. Let's see how this story progresses, how it ends. I'm dying to know. Since I know what is in store for you guys, and I'm really excited for you to get to know how the story twists and turns. Okay. Then Mr. Lamb over here is about to leave. He stands up. He says, there's a hive of bees behind the trees. And he says, actually, this is a way of looking at it. It doesn't go right away. He says, there's a hive of bees behind the trees. Okay. And he says, some hear the bees buzz. The bees are buzzing. But I hear them singing. If you hear it for a very long period of time, the humming turns into singing. So in this way, he's trying to say it depends on how you take it, isn't it not? It's either you hear them buzz, or the other way around is to look at it as a singing. You don't take it into your heart. That's difficult, but you can try, right? Then Derry likes it here. He says, I like it here. If you saw me, you'd have not come. Derry says, I like it here. But Lamb over here tells us that, wait, only if you'd have seen me, you wouldn't have come, isn't it? Right? Then that would have been trespassing, tells our Derry. Wouldn't that be trespassing if I knew that you are here and I sneaked in and everything? But then that's not the reason. You wouldn't have come in if you had seen me. That's not the reason. That's not the thing. It's just that you don't want to be seen. Okay, you don't like people also because they look at you, they stare. That's the reason you didn't want anybody to see you. You wanted a place for yourself. And that's also the reason you like it here. You can be yourself over here. You can talk about what you're feeling out loud, tell everything, vent out things, right? Don't like being near people. That's the reason you didn't want it to come, isn't it? Or that's the reason you didn't want it to be around people. Then later on, yeah, because they stare and because they're afraid of me again, okay? So then we get to know about the story. There was once a man, our Lamb over here goes on to tell us a story. What's the story? There was once a man who decided to lock himself up. Here also we have another lesson coming up. He was very afraid of everything. What are these everything? He was afraid of everything in this world. What are these everythings? Let's see. He was afraid that a bus might run over him. There might be a man who breathes germs and get this guy infected so he can die. Okay. There might be a donkey and it might kick him and he might die out of that because of that as well. And there could be a lightning that can strike him. The lady that he loved might leave him and he can just slip on a banana peeling and just might die, slip, anything that can happen. So he wanted to avoid all these things. Hence he locked himself up in the room. Okay. Now then what happened? After that, he went to the room, locked himself up, got into his bed and stayed there. Not forever, only for a while. Because although he tried to escape all these things, what is going to happen, something that is bound to happen will happen. No matter how much you try to, just how we had learnt in the case of tiger in the zoo. What happened? Then a picture fell off on his head and killed him. Just like how our tiger killed the king, right? He gets killed even after escaping all of these things. So if you're running away from something in life, thinking that you won't be able to do it, thinking that, it might not turn out very well, the best thing to do is to confront your fears and just face it, right? That's what Lamb over here is trying to tell us. Then Derry laughs out loud and Lamb still says peculiar things according to Derry. Yes, to some it is peculiar, but to the ones really who understand, who can relate with these things, I don't think they find it peculiar, isn't it? Moving forward, what else happens? Now Derry is curious. What do you do all day here? Okay. He says, I sit in the sun, read books. You said the house looks empty. No, it's not really empty. It is full. There are books and everything. I read books. I spend my time. But then it's strange. Your house doesn't have any curtains. Why do you not have curtains? Lamb over here reveals it to us that he does not like curtains. He does not like to shut himself inside or shut anything that is there outside. Shut himself from anything that is outside or inside. Okay. So he's not fond of shutting things out or in. He likes light, darkness, windows open and hear the wind. Derry also reveals that he also likes listening to the rain when it is, dropping or dripping on the roof. He likes to hear that sound later on. So it is true that you have not really grown numb and have not stopped listening. Then our lamb tries to poke in and he says, yeah, right. So after all, you have not stopped listening then. You do know there are plenty of things that you can enjoy, that you can hear, other than people talking about yourself and you thinking that they're all afraid of you. There are much more things there. About me, yeah, I also hear, no. I also hear people talking about me downstairs when they think I'm not there. And they talk what? They say, what will he ever do? What will happen to him when we are not there? How is he going to face the world? It is because they are concerned. But the boy is not in that age where he is able to understand why they talk, what they talk. He cannot understand the concern and everything, right? He just takes it as they are talking about his inability or the fact that he has been through something and there could be nothing about that can be done about it. It's just irreversible according to him, and that's what he worries. Okay, what's going to happen to him when we are gone? How will he ever be able to recover from all of these things, or how will he ever be able to face the world? Then moving forward, now lamb over here is little upset. Look, boy, you've got 2 arms, 2 legs, eyes, ears, tongue, brain. You can do whatever that you choose to do like the rest of them. Why are you being so cranky about things, right? This is where his level of patience is blown off, and he straight away tries to confront this boy over here and tells, you can do many things that you want to. What is that barrier? What is stopping you? You yourself, nothing else, right? How can I do that? Well, like me, like how I am doing. I am managing things, right? Do you have any friends? Asks our dairy. He wants to know about this. Yes, I have hundreds of friends, tells our lamb. And then, no, I don't believe in you. I think you live by yourself and you're lonely and miserable. That's what is happening over here. You're just lying to me. I feel that way. Okay. No, people do come here. They sit. Lamb says, no. He does not agree. He says, people do come. People sit. You know, sometimes we also have campfire in the winter, and kids also come in all the time. Kids come for apples, pears, and toffees that I make out of honey. They come. You don't know. Okay. Derry is not agreeing. He's not at all in the mood to agree. So, but he says, wait, you let me in. You said friends keep coming. You have hundreds of friends and everything. But wait, I am not your friend. Lamb over here tells, but then why not? Why are you not my friend? What makes you think that, right? You are. Why do you think so? Then, you don't know me. That's because you don't know me. I just came in and you just met me. But lamb over here thinks, why do you have to know everything about a person before just making friends with them? Okay, do I have to write down all your particulars and jot it down and see if it matches with mine and then make friends? There is like, wait, that's not actually important. So we also learn that friends don't think too much. Friends just become, right? They don't, you've had crazy encounters with people. You've had wonderful number of friends, I'm assuming. If that's the case, did you guys just sit somewhere and think about, okay, what are the benefits I can get out of this guy? And how are we going to sit together, study together, go around together? How is his nose, ears, eyes? How is her hair? Did you think about all that? No. Friends are just made instinctively, naturally. That's what our lamb over here opines. He says so. I don't have to list down all your particulars to make friends with you. You are my friend. Okay. So, well, you can or you cannot be. However, Derry over here tells, okay, fine then. I am your friend. But you can choose. If you want to be my friend, you can be my friend. Otherwise, no. I'll give you the choice. I understand. Says, this poor boy also thinks he's not somebody who is eligible to be a friend to someone else. He thinks, it's okay if you don't choose to be my friend also, I'll be fine with it, he says. Now, that's a pathetic situation one can put oneself to be in or imagine to be in, right? So, wait, he says, you don't even know my name. Then we come to the name now. He says, my name is Derry. It's actually Derek. I hate it. Actually, I don't really like it that much. He reveals it to us. Then, well, I'm your friend, but if you don't choose to be my friend, that's okay. I understand. I respect it, he says. So, I might never come here. You know, it's just like one-time visit. I might never come here and I might never mean anything to you. That might happen. So, do you still want to be friend then if I don't come here ever again? Right? So, why not? Tells Mr. Lamb. Why can't you be my friend? Even if you just came in one time, why can't you be my friend? Then our Derry over here has a logic. You know, you meet a lot of people on the day-to-day basis whenever you go in the path or somewhere in the road. You might talk to some of them, say a few words, say hi, hello also. But then you might never meet them or never bump into them ever again. Does that mean you're friends with them? No. They are just people who are nothing. They mean nothing to you. But according to Lamb over here, people are never ever nothing. Even if it is the shortest of the encounters you have, it's what life is about. Even if it's the shortest or the longest encounter, does not matter. Everybody is important and they are never nothing, right? So he says, many pass or talk on the street, but that does not mean they're friends. They're nothing. They're just nothing. No, people are never nothing. Our Derry over here reveals that he hates some people. Now, hate is such a strong word. Like and dislike is one way, it's the surface level, it's fine. Hate is a strong word. Why? Our Lamb over here reveals us. You know, when you don't like a person, when you dislike a person, there's no harm in it. It's just your disposition towards that person, right? But when you hate a person, hate is such a strong negative emotion that it affects you in turn. Hate grows deeper and deeper within you. He tells, you know, that is more harmful than any bottle of acid. Only you know what? The fact that you told me that you have hate within you for somebody else, it can do you more harm and damage than this bottle of acid. Bottle of acid has only damaged. Derek is offended. He says, what? Only face? What are you saying? No, what I'm saying is true. Hate or these kind of emotions in turn affect you. So it is such a strong negative emotion. That's what he's saying. Bomb, like, let's compare. Bomb only blew my leg, okay? But if I were to have such a strong feeling of this one, jealousy, hatred, okay, that can consume me altogether, right? So that's worse. You can burn yourself. You can burn your entire self with, you know, a feeling of this sort can burn you up completely, not just face. One person, so when Derry also tells us, you know, why I hate people, I'll tell you. I have instances, don't worry. So when I came home, when I was coming back home, there was one person who said, you know, where does this boy belong? He actually belongs to the hospital, belongs in the hospital where, you know, people like him are there and he belongs there. He has to be with people like him, okay? So with others like him, he has to be there. Idiots, according to him, idiot boys will be with other idiot boys. Now, Mr. Lamb feels what sort of a world that would be if everything is all categorized and people, you know, if people with a thin leg will all live together and people who are blind will all live together, no mutual interaction will be there. What sort of a boring, horrible world that would be? It is because the world is filled with many variety of people. Life has become what it is, interesting, adventurous. If only it was like this, it would have been monotonous, horrible, right? So, right, it would have been a weird world, nobody to stare because everybody understands if everybody is blind, if everybody has had a acid burn, nobody would stare at each other, it would all become common. Is that how you're saying it, right? So, just by what you look like, how do you know that all of you are the same? Okay. Now, with regard to the life that we have and the things that we go through, that is all same. But us as individuals, our personalities are so much different. People who have all had acid burns are not all similar people. It's just that they have been through a similar damage, an accident. But that does not make them all one whole person, right? I am different from what you are. It does not, it's just like saying all teachers are the same. No. I might be different, my way of teaching, my way of communicating with the students, you know, getting to know from them, but could be totally entirely different from the other teacher. So you can't really say everybody who has had a damage or everybody who look similar are not same people. Okay. Here, Lamb is trying to bring out how individuality matters and it stands out in the world out there, right? So then Derry asks, how do you learn all these? How are you able to talk all these peculiar things and how are you able to articulate all these things? Then Lamb reveals that it is by watching, looking and observing, understanding, listening that I've been able to cultivate all these things. Derek likes this place. You know, he has this long conversation that they are having, the interaction that they are having. It sort of has built a friendship between them without them noticing it. And he says he likes this place and he wishes one such place for himself as well. That's sweet, right? So Mr. Lamb says, what's mine is anybody's. You know, this place also belongs to you. Whatever that is mine, it also, jo mera hai, wo tera bhi hai, he says. Okay, so you can come anytime. Wait, so even if people are here, I don't have to mind. I can just come in. But then our Derek over here says, wait, it's not me who is going to mind. It's the people who will be here. They are going to mind. Because of me, one person coming in, you are going to lose all those hundreds of people, friends that you had. No, they are going to get scared when they look at me and they're going to run away. You'll lose all the friends. They'd mind me when they look at my face and they'll run away. He says so. And then, they might or might not, tells our Mr. Lamb. They might run away. They might not run away. You take the risk. Try it once at least, right? Take the risk. So you would have to lose a bunch of friends because I am here. Okay. But then I have not moved. You have come in. We have been talking for so long. Did you see me moving? I'm here. So you can take the risk. You can try to understand who are going to stay, who are going to run away. You can do that at least. You won't regret it. So kids do shout, Lammy Lamb. Okay. But they still come. They are not afraid of me because I am not afraid of them. Because I am friendly and hence they are also not afraid of me. So we also get to know that our Mr. Lamb's leg was blown off in the war again. He says yes. But then how do you climb the ladder? If you have one tin leg, how do you climb the ladder in order to reach for the apples? Asks our Derek, and Lamb replies that, over the years with a lot of, I've been very consistent and steady with my learning, and I've learned a lot many things over the years with a lot of time. I've given it a lot of time. Okay. So what if you fell and broke your neck and you lie there and you die on your own, just you're there? It's sort of like good to be on your own and sometimes bad also, says our Derek. And you said you'd help me, right? You said you'd help me, asks Lamb. If I fall, if I break my neck, you said you'll help me, no? Then, well, you can if you want to, tells Lamb. And my mother would want to know definitely. Derek also tells us about his mother who would get worried. We get to know that his place is 3 miles away from Mr. Lamb's place. And although she knows that he's 14-year-old, she still worries about where he's going, what he's doing, because she's concerned, right? So then go back home. Walk 3 miles home. It's a nice weather, nice day. Tell her that you are going to be here. Go inform. But then once when I go home, I don't think I'll be sent back ever again. Wait, once when you go back home, is it that they don't send you back or you don't want to come back? So it's your will which is stopping you, says Mr. Lamb. Okay. You'd never let yourself come back. It's you, isn't it? Asks Lamb. You don't know what I can do. You don't know what I can do or I could not do. Don't tell me that way, okay? Then I don't know everything. Mr. Lamb over here agrees. It's true, I don't know everything and I can't tell you what to do all the time. That is also true. Then you discover. You see what you can do, your own. Take in charge of your own decisions, okay? He says. Then of course, we see that I do want to find out, I want something that is only mine and not anybody else. Nobody else in this world has any of those things. Lamb over here tells, then find out. Discover what is it that you want. Okay? By waiting, watching and listening, just like how I did it, you also try. Okay? Then sitting here or going there by doing all of those, Mr. Lamb goes to check on the bees and Derek asks, do other people also ask questions when they come in over here? He says, yeah, some do and they do ask a lot of questions, some don't. Okay? But then Derek strongly feels that I don't think it is also again at the back of his head, the notion that with people who are, specially abled or people who have been through accidents, he thinks that the world treats them differently and he is generalizing the whole thing. Stereotypically, he says, I don't think people ever come here. He would want to believe that it is his idea. Okay. So, and I think you're lonely and miserable over here. But then, can you give me names? If only people come here, can you give me some of the names? And some of the names are given. Tom, Dick and Harry. Is that the names that you want? Okay. Our Lamb over here can give a couple of names. You're crazy. Derek says, you know what? You are mad. But to which Lamb over here tells, that's a good excuse. Okay. Good excuse for you to not come back. You are thinking of not coming back. You are going to stop yourself from coming back. And that's the excuse you are giving. Right? You think I'm crazy and you're not going to come back. Then, your face is burned up. And according to you, that's the excuse for people to not talk to you. And you think I am mad. He's just giving reasons one on top of the other just to stop himself from doing so many things. He can just go and try interacting with people. Who knows, there are people who are welcoming, broad-minded, somebody who with healthy mindset, who do know that they are also human beings, and just talk about things and not stare at your face and become all judgy, right? So it is you who is giving yourself so many reasons, so many blockages, boundaries, excuses as to what is stopping yourself from doing so many things. You are like the others. You say things, either feel sorry or you're frightened. Again and again, Derek says the same things. You are also like other people, yeah. You are also either frightened of me, or you feeling sorry about me. You also think that I'm ugly as a devil. He again reiterates the same thing. And then Derry is about to leave, but tells that he would come back. And you just wait. I am going to come back. It's not that I'm stopping myself. You're wrong, and I will prove you wrong. I am going to come back. And he's about to leave, and he leaves. Can run. He says something really mean when he's leaving. He says, it's not like you are. He gets very offended and says, I'm not like you. I don't have a tin leg. I can run, and I am going to come back. Okay. And then in scene 2, we see that Derek has reached home. He is talking to his mother about where he had been to. It is to Lamb's place. But his mother warns him that, no, although we have been here close to 3 months, it is a short time period. I do know what are the things that are necessary or mandatory that we get to know once when I hear, and you're not supposed to go over there. But he says, no, I like it there. I get to think about things. I like to be myself over there. And Lamb speaks very differently. Like, he does not speak like anybody else. All the other people do, and he just lets me be. I would want to think about stuff. I would want to be myself. She says, you do all the thinking over here. Don't go. But then he decides, no, I am going to go. If only he has learned his lesson. He says, if only it's not even about my face. She thinks, I understand it's because of your face. You are talking like this. It is what the world has made you. And I forgive you about that. You are allowed to speak like that. He says, no, it's at this point of time, it's not even about my face. I want to do everything, and I don't want to stop myself from doing everything. If I don't go there today, I will never be able to go do anything in the world out there. He says so, okay? So scene 2, it is in Derry's house. Derry's mother tells him that although they have been there for 3 months, she knows whatever that she has to know, and she's been warned by people not to go there. So Derek asks her, do you believe what everybody else says? Look how his entire table has turned over here, okay? So what are you afraid of? Are you afraid of anything? And do you believe whatever people are saying? I want to be there, sit, listen, and I have to listen to the bees singing and him talking. That's what I want to do. She asks about what are the things, such as what? What do you want to listen to? Things that matter, things that never anybody has ever told him. I would want to listen and talk about all those things. So mother asks him to do all the thinking over here and not to go out anywhere. Derry says, I hate it over here. She says, it's okay. It's just the world that has made you like this because of how your face looks like. She tells him that she forgives him because he is bound to speak like that given his situation. Okay. Then she tells that he tells that it has got nothing to do with his face or how he looks and all of that. Right? We come to the end of the story. It has been such roller coaster for us, be it our Derry coming into the garden, meeting Mr. Lamb accidentally, and him being very insecure and very totally down about his face being burnt and people not being friends with him strongly believing that there could be nothing different about his life. But on the other hand, we also have Lamb, who has a tin leg, who does not have company over there. Yet he's so optimistic, so jovial, so full of life, right? So we see friendship budding in between these two and how it leads to such a change in this boy all of a sudden. But at the end, this is where we have reached to the end of this lesson. So he says it is important that I have to think about what I feel, what I want to see, what I have to find out and hear. It's very important, mother. And hence, he's going to help go back and help Mr. Lamb with his crab apples. And mother tries to stop him, but Derek feels that if he doesn't go back, he'll never go again anywhere in the world. So he runs as he wishes for the world. The world is what I wish for, and he runs to Lamb's house. Scene 3, we enter Lamb's garden. He is up on the ladder and he's trying to collect the crab apples. Suddenly, the ladder falls. Okay. And Mr. Lamb over here With it, he falls and there is complete silence. What has happened? Derry opens the gate, comes back into the garden, and he sees that lamb has fallen, and he tries to wake him up. He says, "It's all right. I've come back to help you. You know, nothing has happened. You just fell and everything is going to be okay." And he panics. Okay, but there is complete silence. "Lay me lamb. I have come back as I'd promised you. It's all right. Okay, I did come back." Derry begins to weep as he gets to know, as he realizes that Mr. Lamb is dead. And that's how your story ends. That is a very sad note to end on. Somebody, as he was there and he spoke, Derek over here took everything that he was speaking. He was re-questioning everything that our Mr. Lamb was speaking. Nevertheless, he did pass on that life experience and wisdom to this boy in a most effective way possible. I hope to you also, Lamb had a very special place in your hearts, I believe, as of today. And that whatever that he spoke might in some point of our lives might come handy to us. On that note, I'll see you all in the next class. Thank you.